Leo, welcome to your November 2019 General Tarot reading. It's Raina here, just shuffling the cards. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck for this particular venture, if you will. Ooh, finally got that Lover's card, and that's a beautiful... Oh, you've got some color pop in here, because the Wild Unknown Tarot deck does have a lot of black and white pictures, it seems like. And it's like, you know, there you go, Exhibit A. Mother of Swords is... then as soon as I said that, then I started getting black and white. Oh, that's funny. Okay. So, I feel like you're the second sign where I felt like I did your reading. I hope I'm not doing a duplicate here. The heart of the matter is the Mother of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands. This is that card that in the Rider-Waite deck, she's holding a sunflower, and I always think it's Leo when it's supposed to be a Sagittarian woman. This is a card of, you've got the feminine and masculine energy, and Wands are fire signs. So it could be somebody who, you know, obviously you're a fire sign, and especially with the feminine energy, a woman, a female Leo who may be struggling with some kind of situation going on. Typically it's like, do you want to be a mother? Do you want to work when you're a mother? If you are a man, do you want to raise your children? You know, we always just assume the woman wants to. What about if the man wants to be a stay-at-home father? Leos are really good with children, typically. Leo rules the 5th house, and children is one of those themes of the 5th house. And Leo is usually a big kid themselves, so there you go. What else? Being, you know, a mother or a parent, and what does that mean at this time for you? Leo is a sign as a parent that is very dynamic, because fire signs tend to be like kind of, especially Leo, larger than life and just full of energy and things like that. But with Leo, sometimes the shadow side can be controlling, maybe sometimes possessive, wanting that attention and not giving the child, especially if you're dealing with a teenager, if there's any kind of like, you know, wanting your child to do certain things so that they don't want to do, like a clash of wills, a clash of, you know, two people wanting to have control of the situation. And usually Leo's heart is in the right place, though, as long as the person is not a narcissist, obviously, or somebody who is, you know, got their own problems. But I mean, the average person, they want the best for their child. They just may be kind of overbearing. I think that fire energy is kind of aggressive. So depending on the type of child that they have, that may kind of not translate well. As a woman, if you are in the workplace and maybe you're a boss or you know, like a supervisor, and you are having a hard time with it, maybe like dealing with men, or, you know, feeling like if you do your job that you're going to be looked at in a certain way that you don't want to be looked at in that way, that you're too aggressive, you're too whatever. I'm just going to keep going just because it's, you know. The past position, we have the Lovers. Isn't that beautiful how they did that design? And the Lovers card can be, you know, self-explanatory in terms of meeting somebody in the workplace. Maybe it's somebody who works under you. I'm not going to make any nasty jokes about that one. But, you know, that idea of somebody who you are managing, or I can't think of why can't I think of the word at all? No caffeine in my system. So it's just one of those deals where you might be that authority figure, but you're also interested in somebody that is in that workplace, and it's kind of a little bit awkward or even forbidden. They don't want people to do that. Another thing too is I'm trying to think about, like if you're someone, let's say I'm going to say a woman, just because this card, the other decks that I have, they did depict it as a woman, is Queen of Wands. Obviously, we think of the feminine energy as a queen. It's not a king. And so a woman who is trying to balance her life, who maybe you've met somebody and yet you have your career and you don't want to have to give up one for the other, And if you are with someone who is grumbling about your commitment to your career, and they say, I never see you, you always have to leave early, you're working too much, don't be reactive, but also don't just automatically give in either. Really think about what they're saying. Forget that they're the ones saying it and just think about what they're saying, if it's true or not. The higher message is the Ten of Pentacles. And this is like good money. It can be like somebody who is affluent. And so there may be something where you feel this sense of like pressure to not work so many hours, or I don't know if anybody's ever had somebody tell them that they shouldn't be working where they're working because of the nature of the job and they feel like neglected. If you have anything going on like that, definitely take into account what your partner is saying, because they do have a right to their feelings, especially if they're doing so because they want to see more of you. That's not really a crime. But at the end of the day, you have to decide why you're doing what you're doing. With the Ten of Pentacles, you may be trying to really establish yourself financially so that you do have that sense of freedom, so that if you did want to leave, that you would feel completely comfortable doing so. And you don't want to ever be in somebody else's, at somebody else's mercy. And that might be another thing too, that somebody that you are together with is questioning your job. Maybe they're saying, I want you to be a stay-at-home mother. Make sure that you know who you are and what you're about, because the Ten of Pentacles may indicate, family money and family business. And this is the spiritual message. So if you have some kind of a career, a product, like if you're an entrepreneur, if you're doing something that is clearly your own and you don't want to merge with another person, even somebody that you would consider marrying, you still would be very leery about giving up your own business and your own financial independence, then make sure that you are really listening to what people are saying, or especially a particular person, so that you are not abdicating your freedom, or letting, or not throwing it away, so that you can prove to somebody something. I was even thinking with the Mother of Wands that there could be some connection with a mother-in-law. And in that case, this would be a woman, even in the upright position, that I could see being very kind of like overbearing and wanting drama. So even like a narcissistic mother-in-law. And that in and of itself, if that is something that you're dealing with, the problem is that first of all, you're a Leo, so you're going to be both, your egos are going to be clashing just because you're both fire signs. Or if she is not a fire sign, she may, I mean, if her sun sign isn't that, she probably has it somewhere else. And I'm not saying just Leo, I'm talking about either Sagittarius or Aries. Especially I could see Aries, because Aries is a cardinal sign, so they kind of want it their own way. And so you may clash because you're actually, hilariously, both quite a lot alike, but she is making mischief. She may be trying to separate you and her son and create problems. And I guess this could go in both directions. So you could be a male Leo experiencing this with your mother-in-law as well. The other thing is, you know what I was thinking, and I'm hoping this isn't the case for anybody. I was thinking, what if you became lovers with your mother-in-law? For some reason, Jerry Springer sprung into my head. But no, but you know, that does happen. I hate to say it, but it does. And you know, it is what it is. Let's put it that way. But in any case, you know how they say don't feed the trolls. Don't feed a narc. Starve out a narc. And you do that by not showing reaction. And this is not because you don't want to, like you shouldn't show emotion in relationships, but this is a relationship that you've written off, that you know is just impossible of being healthy, because you're dealing with somebody who doesn't want it to be okay. She's got her own agenda and she's kind of pushing it. So in those particular cases, it's better to live your life looking for peace, kind of gravitating towards people who appreciate you for you, who aren't trying to like split you and another person up by talking badly about each of you behind the other's back, and you know, the triangulation, those kinds of things. Don't feed into somebody else's drama. She may be, like the Lover's card could even be to me that you have really made your love open, like you know, out in the open, made it known to people, and she's just like, excuse you, you know, and that kind of thing. And the thing is that we look at the higher message that I think I already picked up this card. And this is a card, the Ten of Pentacles, can be like the family's money, the other family's money, and they don't want certain people in their family. They're like trying to decide who gets to be their adult child's spouse. And you know, maybe you've like kind of announced your engagement, and that's what the Lover's card represents. Or you know, I wouldn't even say it's that committed. I would say it's just like you've gotten together with them and she has already been activated, because she's like, oh my gosh. And they use the money though. That's the point I'm trying to make. So the important thing isn't to focus on this woman. The important thing is to focus on her adult son or daughter, whoever you're involved with, and see how they interact with her. If they are afraid of her and they don't say anything, then you have to be aware that this person is going to be like this. You know, if you did get married and are in their family, and then they ratchet it up even more, that you don't want to be, you know, too involved with somebody, because your husband or your wife might be a weenie, with their parent. They're just like, they revert back to when they were like 5 years old or something. So that could be a warning sign that your own spouse won't take your side when they tried to poison the well. So just a little tip about that, in case that you've been kind of questioning yourself and saying, am I crazy? Am I overreacting? Am I the one who's in the wrong? It could be that you really sense this is going on. What crosses you is the Mother of Swords. Now, here we get another mother. And this card in Anthony Lewis Plain and Simple, a tarot book that I highly recommend if you're trying to learn the tarot, because they have a lot of keywords. He calls it a real bitch in the reversed position, which is how I'm reading this card. So it is suggesting that this person, if the Mother of Wands is a different person than you, that she is destructive. She is unkind. And it's easy to get sucked into that drama and want to respond, want to like tell her off, but that's exactly what these kinds of people want. So if you really are kind of like wanting to get back at her without really being a vengeful type of person, you might find it very enjoyable to not take the bait. That could be like something that is completely fun to do, and there's the payoff because you know that it's pissing her off. And it's just that it's a teachable moment for her, that she can't bother other people in order to feel good about herself or to bring other people down, what have you. Hopefully this is not you, Leo, that you're not acting like this woman. I didn't think of this. What popped in my head was a woman scorned. So if you were involved with somebody, especially in the workplace, and maybe you're even their superior, and they broke it off with you, you had a fling, they broke it off with you, and now you're kind of trying to make their life a living hell. No, don't even go there. And if you have done something like that, apologize to that person and tell them that you wish them well. And that kind of energetically allows you to leave that situation alone. Because you don't want to be one of these people that is an obsessed person who's looking for reasons to, harass somebody, even if you can come up with great ways to do it. It's not right. And if you share a child with this person, that could be also something that you have to refrain from. Actually, I was getting distracted because I was thinking, I wonder if you had an affair and now you're pregnant, if that's what's going on. If so, it would say with the Ten of Pentacles that there's money available to help you, maybe from family members and things like that. This is a spiritual message. So to me, it would kind of suggest that it would only be appropriate if you were absolutely in need, that you want to, do things for yourself rather than just rely on others. What's coming in, or the advice, the Seven of Pentacles. I mentioned that I really love this card, the illustration of the interpretation. You can see that there's an ascension of pentacles, or practical energy and practical growth. So it's all about putting your energy into something and seeing the growth that it produces, or trying to gauge that growth, trying to see if what you're doing really does have that kind of worthwhile quality of being something that is going to pay off in the long run. So if you are in a situation where you're involved with somebody and you really think that it has a great future, you have a great future with this person, but the only fly in the ointment is the mother-in-law. This card would suggest to have patience, to keep putting in your time to get to know this person so that you can decide whether or not they're the right person for you. But even with the mother-in-law, seeing, maybe you can ignore what she's doing and try and befriend her and see if she changes her tune. If she's just doing it out of aggression, which I think she is, if that's what's happening. When I said aggression, I mean out of like jealousy because you're taking away her son, for instance, or something like that. Even if that's the case, if you were to look at it from a higher view, you might see that it's something that does have a point to it. Or, having that type of uncomfortable emotion is natural if somebody is your child and you raise them, from when they were a baby and you just have this history with them and they were so dependent on you and now they're not, of course it's going to be a little bit difficult because that means that you're probably in middle age, and one of the hardest parts about middle age is being young enough where things are still possible for you, but feeling sometimes like it's just, to quote George Harrison, it's all too much. And that's what leads people to come up with these crazy ideas, So just plug away. And actually, speaking of plugging away, we have as the outcome card the Son of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles. And by the way, the Lover's card could even be forming a partnership with somebody, business-wise. And so this is about assessing, how far you've come, but also working your butt off every day, consistently working your butt off. The Knight of Pentacles connects to Taurus, if that means anything to you. So in general, I think this is a very interesting reading, Leo, based on some of the things that might be presenting themselves as challenges, but really are not, because you have a sense of confidence in yourself, and maybe you're in love, and it's like maybe you have a lot of money, so it's all good, and all this other stuff are minor irritations, but overall you're living a really good life. I certainly hope so. If you'd like a personal reading, please click on the link below. Take care. Bye.